Hello and welcome back to Undefeated. We'll be continuing where we left off, which, if you recall, is basically after Bruce beat up Zander again, and Zander had a talk with the commissioner. It did not end well. Zander had a little meltdown. He took it out on Redline. They eventually had a little conversation about Redline's family. Turns out that he's sort of like the mama's boy, but also like the little teeny beanie that like they all sort of pick on. We saw that Xander's family life was apparently pretty bad once his mom and dad found out that he was a homosexual. What else? Basically, Bruce came up to Zander and said, like, hey, I need help. And we're all probably just theorizing that it's probably trying to get out of the contract as well. Because after he beat Zander, he accidentally stepped on him. And I say accidentally because he looked like, uh-oh, I did not mean to do that. And my guess is that, yeah, he wants out of this too. And yeah. I guess that's it, really. There really isn't much else. So without further ado, let us continue round 4. Or let us start round 4, I should say. What? There's a rage bubbling underneath that question. It sounds more like a statement. I need you to help spot me on the bench. He points to the bench presses on the other side of the room. Fuck off. Listen. He speaks under his breath, leaning in. No, you listen. I'm not sure where this bravery is coming from. It's boiling over. I can feel my heart beating fast. I've been down here for a month, and every day has been a living fucking hell. Zander. You and your fucking goons or fan base or whatever you want to call them. Stop. Anytime you and your friends see me in the halls, In an instant, he moves closer, his massive hand easily covering my face, holding my jaw shut. I space my legs out, letting the treadmill run underneath. Bruce speaks quietly, not breaking eye contact. Shut the fuck up for a second. Don't turn your head, but know that we are being watched. Right, the camera's in the corner. I thought those were for security. This is the only way that I can talk to you right now without people asking questions. But I am being as gentle as I can. So I am sorry if it hurts. Behind me. He nods his head in one direction. There was a bench press in one corner, directly underneath the camera. There was a narrow blind spot in the cameras, right where the lifter's head sits. You're going to spot me while I bench. The cameras have bad microphones, so we're going to speak quietly. You got that, nerd? Bruce's voice raises as he spoke that last one, giving me a gentle shove backward. Now get off your lame-ass treadmill and spot me. He starts stomping towards the bench press. I follow behind. Drayden isn't going to be happy when he finds out that I did more than just a walk on the treadmill. Your dumbass doctor can take it up with me if he's got a problem. Ha 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 ha. I figured a big guy like you wouldn't need a spotter. And I figured a little fucking nerd like you would bitch about gym safety or whatever. Shut up. Bruce starts racking the weights, effortlessly lifting a few 100-pound weights onto either side of the bar, then lays down on the bench. Get back there and get ready to work, loser. It's a weirdly tight fit back here. I'm basically pressed between the back corner and the barbell. Bruce's hands grip the thick iron bar and start to lower it down. Don't you need help? He spits out a chuckle and grumbles. I'm not about to get Drayden breathing down my ass. Wouldn't need you for this, anyway. He grunts and pumps the bar once, twice, 3 times. Sorry. There's a weird pause while Bruce does another rep. Okay. Or being an ass. Am I supposed to forgive you? Probably not, if you had any dignity. He grunts a bit as the barbell moves up. My guess is that there's a lot going on that you don't really know about. I wish someone would fill me in. I don't have the full picture either. I can't ask too many questions, but I smell bullshit. How's your ribs? Not as good as before you tried to kill me. Hey, I didn't... He catches himself before his voice gets too loud. I didn't mean to step on you like that. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry for the cafeteria thing. I had to keep my reputation. And for knocking me out in the first fight? I mean, it's a fight, right? My unimpressed face seems to get through to Bruce, whose cocky smile returns to a blank expression. I'll try to be nicer in the future. Cool. And I'll try not to get steamrolled in my mandatory beatings, so your fans can keep sucking your balls online. Bruce closes his eyes. His face twists in some sort of strange frown. Sorry. I didn't mean for it to end up like this. But you didn't mean to crush my ribs. Jesus, Zan. It was an accident. Like it or not, I'm huge and you're small. I got too hyped up for the cameras and I wasn't watching where I was walking. I try to be more careful. But I did not. Hey! His voice growls at the last word, drawing my attention back to his eyes. He sounds urgent, yet nearly silent, speaking through gritted teeth. I'm trying my goddamn best to keep you in one piece without getting the old man on my ass about keeping the audience pumped. The old man? The commissioner? You'd think it's gonna look good when his big bad champ suddenly starts fighting like you're made out of glass. He's already bitching about the shit you said online. He pumps that barbell up and down, his massive biceps bulging and tensing as it moves. I gotta play it up for the crowd or he's gonna get suspicious and make you fight one of the other depraved fucks that want my title. Just be glad that you got paired up with someone who likes their opponents alive. Oh, so I should be thanking you for only breaking my ribs? Yeah, it wouldn't hurt. You're not the only one with a lot on the line. Right, I'm risking my life, and you're busy brown-nosing to your boss. Bruce racks the barbell and lets out a deep growl. Looking down at him now, he's sweating quite a lot, but doesn't make eye contact, taking a few deep breaths before speaking. I just want to make sure that we're on good terms. I don't want to hurt you. Well, you have a weird fucking way of showing it. Whatever. The dinosaur gets up off the bench and stomps towards the door. I'll see you in the next match, loser. Thanks for nothing. Like before, his voice was much louder than normal. I make my way out towards the treadmill and can hear him stomping all the way down the hall. God, what a fucking creep. Just seeing him makes my blood boil. Good terms, my ass. I don't know what he expects me to say. He spent the last 2 fights enjoying himself while I ended up in the fucking ER. The cafeteria, the weigh-in. Anytime I see him, shit starts to go south. I'm surprised that he didn't try anything with Bucky earlier today. Granted, Bucky folded him with a single punch, but he didn't seem too upset about it. Not upset enough to try anything now, at least. It is weird that he didn't try anything, I'll admit. Maybe it'll look worse for him on the cameras, since there's no one around. Or maybe there's no one for him to gloat to. Whatever. Apologize. What a fucking joke. As if he's risking anything in these fights. Now my mood is spoiled, thanks to that jackass. Coming down off that adrenaline rush, I can feel just how exhausted my body is. I guess now is as good of a time as any to try and get some sleep. 2:30 a.m. Christ, yeah, after just reading that, the tiredness sinks in a bit more. The hallways are so wide when I'm on my own. I've usually got Redline nipping at my heels, but he hasn't been around much today. But as I pass by the library to take another staircase up, I see him. He's walking down from the innermost chamber. He looks rattled. Everything all right, Redline? He jumps, his ears straightening out, then folding down. Oh, hey man. Yeah, I'm all right. Just had a run-in with Bruce. Ugh, Did he say anything? No. Just asked me if the immersion chamber was free. He seemed upset. Does he always look upset? We start walking up to the back staircase. Nah, he usually looks pretty angry. He's got a resting beast face. But this was more bummed? I don't know. It's hard to read him sometimes. What are you doing up this late? I couldn't sleep. Had a hell of a day. You? Same, yeah. I think I'm ready for bed. So Bruce didn't say anything about me? Nope, just grumbled what I think was a thank you? Why? I ranted to Redline about everything that happened in the gym. He seems confused. Wait, so he apologized? Yeah, can you believe that? I mean, honestly, kind of. We both stare at each other for a second. You're not serious. I mean, yeah, he's kind of an asshole, but like, I don't know, man. He was always nice to me whenever we got a chance to talk. It was shitty of him to do what he did in the cafeteria. He raises an eyebrow. And I mean, everything else too. I was kind of hoping that was all just random outbursts. So, I'm supposed to forgive him because he's been nice to you a few times? No, of course not. But just like, I don't know, man. It sounds like he's not happy either. Maybe he's not your enemy in all of this? Sure, the guy beating the shit out of me isn't my enemy. I lay down on my bed and roll over. That's not... Good night, Redline. He's quiet for a few seconds, then he flicks the light switch. The room goes dark. Night, Zander. Today felt like one absurdly long dream, the kind where you wake up and feel like it all happened, and it takes some convincing for you to believe it was all fake. But I think my body is ready to give out from exhaustion. Early morning practices are normally fun, but I'm not exactly allowed to participate, what with my ribs and all. I actually managed to sleep well, for all 4 hours I managed to get. But still exhausted? It's hard to explain. But for the first time in a while, I feel a little lighter. It also helps that I don't have to exercise. These cardio drills look killer. Lucky's having them focus on speed and conditioning today. Come on, boys. I want to see you sweat. If your shirts don't look like you just got back from a swim, we aren't finished. Let's move. The sick bastard's enjoying this. I'm seated up on the countertop watching the rest of the men get tortured. Good cardio is one of the most important tools to have in any sport, but especially in MMA. Our bodies are moving at high intensity for potentially long periods of time. Sometimes if two fighters have equal strength and skill sets, it can come down to whoever has better conditioning. If you get exhausted too easily, you'll slip up and get caught up. One mistake is all it takes sometimes. I can't afford to make those kinds of mistakes. None of us can, of course. I can't exactly remember a time when my cardio was terrible, but with how much Bucky makes us sweat, anyone would think that we're just horribly out of shape. Right now, there's 10 guys, Redline and a bunch of people that I assume are his friends, each at a different piece of equipment. They use it at high intensity, and after half a minute or so, they all rotate to a different workout. Bucky gives them a single-minute break every 20 or 30 minutes. It's hard to keep track, but after a couple of sets of that, he's finally giving them a few more minutes to rest. Redline slides down the wall away from his friends. He is oddly quiet today, but he's panting like a dog, so maybe he's just as exhausted as the rest of the others. He guzzles down a load of water, silent, save for the huffing and puffing. Don't go getting too comfy, boys. 2 minutes and we're playing Bucky Says. A collective groan from the other guys, but both Redline and I catch each other's glances. He looks over to the group of his friends and then back to Bucky. Normally, he'd ask me if I can work with his friends, but today it seems like he doesn't have any choice. I'm not able to train today, Red, but you know you don't have to ask for permission to train with your friends. Redline looks down and shakes his head. He swallows. Bucky, can I, Never mind. Sorry. Sorry? What's up? Nothing. His friends all laugh out at some joke. and Redline looks away. Alright. Bucky says it's a game Bucky makes us play to practice combinations. I think it's supposed to be like Simon Says, but he never actually says Bucky says, so we just do whatever he tells us. We each get paired up with someone, and we all put on our gloves. Bucky calls out a combination of punches, and one person has to mimic that, while the other person catches the punches against their gloves. We take turns throwing and blocking with each combo. It's genuinely good practice, but Bucky has to keep reminding people that this is meant to exercise our speed and muscle memory, not power. That doesn't seem to stop people from swinging hard. Whatever, I don't stoop to that level. Redline really seems to be on the receiving end of a lot of it, honestly, but I can tell he prioritizes speed over power, at least in training. They gear up and Redline finds a training partner, some Lynx guy. He's got insane reach. I thought I recognized him from the group of guys that Redline hangs out with, but right now, he's barely even looking at the cat. Mickey? Mikey? Something like that. Alright, you boys ready? The rest of them let out exhausted yells, but Redline just huffs and readies his stance. Sorry, did you want to go first? He speaks just loud enough for me to parse, almost like he's embarrassed to be heard. Mickey just grunts. He looks bored. His hands come up as though he's holding training pads, and Bucky yells out the first combination. Ready? 1, 2. Each number corresponds with a specific strike. 1 is a jab and 2 is a straight. Very basic beginner combo. Redline snaps his jab out towards his right, then his straight towards Mickey's left. Easy enough. 1, 1, 2. 2 jabs and a straight. Mickey sends a jab out against Redline's glove and then again, but Redline's glove moved, with his other hand moving up as if to catch his straight. There's a split-second pause and he sends his straight out for Redline's other glove. Dude! Redline notices his mistake and shakes himself awake. Sorry. Mickey just grunts and readies his hands for the next combo. 1, 1, 4, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2. What the fuck? Jab, jab, rear hook, lead uppercut straight, lead hook, lead uppercut straight. That's a lot right out of the gate. Bucky's got a mean grin on his face. Redline nods and steps up. He jabs, jabs, hooks, hesitates, then jabs again and pauses. Sorry, The rest of the guys are finishing their combos, but Mickey has to shake his glove to remind him of what the next strike is in the series. It takes some doing, but after some slow thinking, he finishes the combo and drops his gloves, letting out a sigh. 1, 2, 5, 2, 3, 6. Okay, a little bit less confusing. Jab, straight, lead uppercut, straight, lead hook, rear uppercut. Redline's hands come up, ready to catch the catch's punches. He sends his jab straight, uppercut. Redline wasn't ready for his straight punch, and his head moved unexpectedly into the path of Mickey's glove. He steps back, shaken. Come on. No, He rubs his nose, the chest starting to heave faster. He's breathing a bit too fast, even though we've lowered the intensity from the training earlier. He looks to his friends, laughing, and then to Bucky. The kangaroo's aggressive expression lightens as he sees Redline. Alright, Red? Redline backs up away from the rest of the guys and starts shuffling towards the door. Sorry, I have to go, sorry. What's up? The rest of the fighters are too busy laughing amongst themselves at something else, so no one really catches the scene besides me, Mickey, and Bucky. Redline sheds his gloves and exits, trotting off down the hall. Mickey just sighs and looks at us, almost annoyed. Did you hit him hard? I tried not to. He moved into the glove. Shadowbox with the rest of the exercise. The Lynx rolls his eyes and starts his exercise. Bucky turns to me and drops his voice. What the hell was that? No clue. He messed up a few times, but I don't think it was a big deal. It didn't look that hard of a punch either. Now, someone could knock him out and he'd still wouldn't freak out like that. Something's up. You heard anything going on? I start to speak up, but I'm drowned out by the sound of Redline's friends laughing way too loudly as one of them got knocked down. He hasn't said anything. I don't like that. Can you keep an eye out for him? Bucky moves past me to help out the guy that just got knocked down. Practice ended and I couldn't find Redline, even in our room. I eventually caught him eating dinner later that night, but he acted like nothing happened. A few more weeks passed by without much going on. Training, eating, sleeping. The good stuff, I suppose. Haven't really run into Bruce since that encounter last night, and Redline is still a little bit more sparse than usual. I see his friends wandering around without him. Maybe they all got fed up with how much he talks, too. Doesn't matter. I need to get ready for my next fight. Matchmaking day came and went with a no-show for Bruce, just like last time. I've been training for near a month now, after getting the okay from Drayden, under supervision of Coach Bucky, and the fight's coming up soon. But first, the hardest challenge that I've had to face since coming down here. Are you ready to go? Please don't make me do this. It's gonna be fine. I feel sick. Jesus, Zander, it's a retirement party, not a funeral. Right, a retirement party. They throw these for every big-name fighter that gets released from Frang. You missed the last. Well, all of them. So I'm making you come. Doctor's orders. Drayden told you to make me go to the beach and get drunk with your friends? Drayden said exactly those words, yes. Should I call him and double-check? I don't think he'd appreciate being interrupted from his important doctor work, so maybe just leave the phone in the bedroom, all right? It's a party. We get to socialize. I'm not necessarily adverse to parties, but I prefer it when I know the people that I'm going to be seeing there. I don't even know who's retiring. You're gonna have fun, I promise. Let's go. Is that all you're wearing? Redline rolls his eyes. Duh, dude. It's a beach party. Everyone's gonna go swimming. I don't know, man. I feel like most people are gonna bring a shirt at least. Sounds like you've never gone to a beach party before. You know, Red, I can't say that I have. Never really had the chance in a landlocked state, but I don't think that I was missing much. I'd much rather be on land where I can't get drifted out to sea. Red seems pumped. It's the most excited that I've seen him in weeks. The whole walk down, he's been rambling about family vacations to the beach. They had this giant balloon thing, and a really tall tower, and then one guy sat on one end of the balloon, and another guy jumped off the tower onto it, and then the guy on the balloon just flew up into the air. They called it the Pudge. Eve jumped for me, and I flew like 30 feet high. That sounds excruciatingly painful. It was. I slapped the fur clean off my chest. He says that with a grin. We open the door to the immersion chamber and step inside. A few guys are standing around drinking at the tables, with some more down on the beach. Bank employees wander around, helping to get everything set up. There is a large banner across the top of the drinking bar reading "Farewell, Ryan," along with photos of a lizard man in various intimidating poses. Ryan, the guy in Bucky's class that I helped coach a few weeks back. He shoved and threatened me. I can see Redline's face tighten up. Ah, that's... How you feeling? I think I'm gonna throw up. That's the spirit. Let's get you some alcohol. I don't really know if alcohol is the answer right now, or even if it should be the answer to anything, but Redline seems pretty stoked about it. Red drags me onto the bar and orders something expensive sounding. The bartender asks what I'll have. Can I, get, lemonade? Boo! A few guys nearby that overheard it also and start to boo me. I can feel my neck get hot. Come on, dude. You need to loosen up. At least grab a beer. I can do that without alcohol. You've had your chance to loosen up without alcohol since you came down here. I'm starting to think that you're lying to me. I roll my eyes. I don't want to drink. Come on, Zan. Stop. I turn back to the bartender to give my order again, but he's already got me a glass of lemonade ready to go. Oh, thanks. The two of us wander back to an empty table with Redline stopping to greet some guys every few seconds. Half of them barely grunt a response back. At least the view from the table is nice. The sun is still pretty high in the sky, so people are mulling about. Seems like everyone's in good spirits. A bunch of people are swimming, a lot more just standing around, drinking and talking. I spy a few huge dudes playing volleyball down in the sand. One guy sets the ball, it goes up. A big dude spikes the ball into someone else's face, hard enough to send the guy stumbling back. The ball bounces back onto the spiker's side of the net and hits the ground. The entire other team, including the gentleman on the ground, cheers loudly. Checking out the eye candy? The what? Redline giggles and takes another sip of his drink. You know, the babes, the hunks, the smoking hot, Another sip. The men? Hot. Redline trips over his words a lot, so this is nothing new. I shrug. They're alright, I guess. I'd be lying if I didn't at least admit some of these men were, at a base physical level, incredibly attractive. I'm not very picky about sizes or appearances. But when it comes to personality, it's a fucking desert. Guys down here are either mean, dumb, or both. Redline nudges me a bit too rough. Come on, big guy, what's the matter? Surely one of these guys has your eye. It's like a fucking charcuterie board. Charcuterie board? Yeah, that. The smorgasbord. It's one of those, but with men. There's a lot of them. I think he meant smorgasbord. I don't know. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of hot guys there. Redline makes some ooh sound, like we're in 4th grade talking about girls. I roll my eyes. What about you? A hyena takes a long sip and slams his empty glass down with a big, satisfied grin. Oh ho ho, buddy, this is an all-you-can-eat buffet, and I'm looking to get my money's worth. What does that mean? Maybe bring a bit home in a doggy bag too. What does that mean? Redline just giggles, that hyena trait showing itself clear as day. Let's just say that room was occupied quite a bit before you showed up, buddy. Gross. Redline laughs, loud enough to get the attention of a nearby table. I motion my hands to try to keep him quiet. Shut up, man. I washed the sheets before you came. And after I came. Stop. Another laugh, this one much higher pitched and louder than the one before. Redline goes to grab another drink. When he returns, he starts to very loudly pointing out the men that he slept with, loudly naming them off and giving probably way too much details about his encounters. So you can remember all these guys' names and how big their dicks are, but you can't remember smorgasbord? He takes another long sip, trying not to spill it as he giggles. You never forget the important details, Zander. Who cares about some dumb French word when there's men to please? I guess he's got me there. There's probably some more value in that, somewhere I'm sure, and Redline seems happy. His tail's been going a mile a minute since he started drinking. I'm gonna head down to the shore. Have fun. Redline grabs my arm and starts to tug. You misunderstood, dummy. You're coming with me. He's not pulling very hard, so I don't resist much, planted firmly in my chair. I'll just sit up here and watch. Come on. If you won't drink alcohol, you can at least drink some seawater. That sounds like a worst idea. It's not even seawater. It's chlorinated. That's basically the same thing. Yeah, kid. Quit being a party pooper. I stumble back, some sort of survival instinct kicking in to help create distance. Bruce just snorts some hot air out. Easy, kid. It's a party. No one's gonna bite your head off. You couldn't if you tried. Bruce scruffs Redline and flashes a big toothy grin, their snouts nearly touching. You wanna bet on that, furball? Redline just lets out a squeaky growl, and Bruce sets him down, his big, sharp claws ruffling Redline's hair. Didn't know you two knew Ryan. We've, met. Bruce's face sours. Doesn't sound like it was a good impression. He tried to kill Zander. Well, no, but he did shove me. Bucky put a stop to him quick. Bruce lets out a sigh, his claws now scritching behind Redline's ear. I can see his tail wagging as he sips from his drink. Bruce lets out a sigh, his claws now stritching. Bruce lets out a sigh, his claws now stretching behind Redline's ear. I can see his tail wag as he sips from his drink. Yeah, that sounds about right. I hear he plays rough in training. It's like the guy doesn't have an off switch. But you haven't seen him in action? You really think anyone outside of the heavyweight wants to spar with me? He can try to be a tough guy with me if he wants. Just then the doors open, and a bunch of men cheer, hooting and hollering Ryan's name. Sure enough, he showed up with a couple of friends. He looks like he's in good spirits. Someone hands him a plastic cup filled with what I assume to be alcohol, and someone else cranks the music up. Redline scampers off to mingle with anyone that will listen. I'm not sure what's worse, tagging along with him or being alone with Bruce. The big guy just glares down at me, eyes occasionally drifting to some other partygoers. He seems particularly keen on Ryan, but his eyes always return to me. So... yeah? I take a sip from my cup. What you drinking? Lemonade. You? He shimmies his cup in his hand. Just some water. Not much for alcohol these days. Attaboy, Brucey. Hydration is key. Just like I taught you. Bucky strolls on in, with Drayden trailing behind. It's weird not seeing either of them in their respective uniforms. Bruce just grumbles. I never had you as a coach. Yeah, I would have worked you to the bone if you did. He rolls his eyes and takes another swig of his water. It's good to see you too. I didn't think staff would show up. What, and miss out on all the fun? I always like seeing my fighters off, even the troublemakers. I don't know why he tussled my hair on that line, but luckily my antler nubs made it a little harder for that. And Drayden never really seemed like the party type. Hey now, I can be fun, though Bucky did offer to go with me. I treated Ryan a bit back when I first started. He's been in the medbay pretty frequently, believe it or not. I can believe it, the guy fights like an animal. He's been in more fights than a lot of the men down here, and his hospital records prove it. Seems like he had some rough coaching too. He'd end up with a lot after sparring. Both Drayden and Bruce take a drink, glaring at Bucky. Hey, don't look at me. I didn't get him till a few weeks ago. I don't let the shit fly in my classes. At least not in the head. Ab training is fair game. Don't tempt me. You still owe me a few punches as payback. Bucky laughs nervously, then clears his throat. He just got more and more rowdy. Too much for the other coaches to handle, apparently. So they sent him my way. I'm usually good with the handfuls. I mean, look at Red. We all glance down at the hyena on the beach, who is trying and failing to wrestle down a large tiger man. The man then proceeds to slam his fist into Redline's body, picking up a sizable amount of sand around his body. Redline lets out a high-pitched wheeze, followed by some energetic giggles. But they seem to be having a good time. Ryan's standing next to them, sipping a drink. He doesn't look like he's as happy as he was earlier, though. What a handful indeed. Someone ought to keep that thing on a leash. Huh, come on guys, he's not that bad. I wasn't insulting him. Oops, incoming. Redline staggers up, just absolutely coated in either sweat or ocean water. He's still giggling and his abs are as red as the blush on his face. Guys, hang on. Hi Buck, and Doctor. It's hard for him to get a word in between his heavy panting and giggling. I'm gonna be right back. Brian's in a bad mood, so I thought of something that will cheer him up. And without waiting for a response, the little guy sprints off out of the door, the wet pitter-patter of his paws trailing away. I've never seen him this energetic. Have you met the guy? He's on some kind of high all the time. Only a few times, but even then, he's at least a little more mellowed out. He does loosen up a lot at the parties. Not that the rest of you ever show. I find ways to keep his trap shut while he's working out. Hard to keep chattering when you can barely breathe. Just as long as you... Oh, good lord! The beach volleyball player from earlier strolls by, his muzzle held up in the air, his paw keeping it pinched shut, but blood is still coming out. Hey bud, are you alright? Well, don't do that! Drayden leans the dog forward and he says something garbled by the blood in his snout. The doctor huffs and leads him towards the door. Sorry guys, I'll be right back. Come here, I'll get you taken care of. As Drayden reaches the exit, the door slams open, with Redline wadding back in, holding a watermelon. Let's smash some melons! The crowd goes silent, mostly from the shock of the door slamming open and Redline yelling. But after a few seconds, someone speaks up. But you only have one melon. I only have one! But it'll be fun! Redline drags a crowd of people down to the shore, splaying out a beach towel and setting the watermelon in the center. It's about the size and shape of a medicine ball. Why is it all round? Shouldn't it be like egg-shape? You're like an egg-shape. Bruce's expression scrunches up as Redline drags Ryan into the center of the people. The lizard's holding a different cup of alcohol, and judging by the steadiness of his stance, he seems to be pretty hammered. Hey, quit grabbing me. Come on, dude, it'll be fun. It's just like in my favorite anime where I don't want to play your fucking dumb bullshit. The lizard tugs his arm back and storms off, chugging the rest of the contents of his cup. Redline just lets out a giggle and wanders over to her chair. He pulls out a wooden baseball bat from underneath. Who wants the first swing? Before anyone can speak up, Redline stumbles back into the circle, raising the bat over his head and slamming it down onto the watermelon. And makes a dull thud, but ultimately does not move. The crowd seems a little confused, and the more people that join the circle, the less people seem to understand. Zander! All eyes turn to me. My ears flip down as Red marches in my direction, swinging the bat lazily from side to side. Are you picking any of this up? Kinda. Should he be swinging that around like that? It's your turn! Redline yanks me into the center, wrapping a piece of cloth over my eyes, and starts turning me in place. Do I get a say in this? Shut up, Zan. It's solstice. Yeah, shut up. It's solstice. Solstice isn't for like 4 more months. Hey, can you chill with the spinning? Redline giggles and spins me a few more times until I'm genuinely thoroughly dizzy. He shoves the bat into my hands with enough force to almost knock me over. Now swing! At the melon? At the melon! I can't see it. Go forward 4 steps and swing. No, you'll hit me! I really don't know if I believe either of you. Go forward 5 steps and then swing. And I definitely don't believe you. That gets a chuckle from both of them. The crowd actually seems into it now, talking amongst themselves or laughing as I stumble around. A few of them shout out commands, which way I need to go and when to swing. There are a lot of conflicting commands, Redline giving out some more of the consistent ones, so I find myself relying mostly on him, if I can piece him out from under the crowd. Okay, now! Now? Now! Now, I guess. I raise the bat over my head and slam it down directly in front of me. Whatever I hit, it doesn't feel like a melon. I swing the blindfold off and see the bat pressed firmly against a towel next to the melon. The crowd makes some sounds of lighthearted disappointment, but Redline stumbles forward, giggling about how close I was. He swipes the bat from my hands and starts spinning it wildly over his head. Who's next? Who wants to go next? I got it. Come here, runt. Redline's ears fold, and his tail flickers, but he's smiling bigger than ever as Bruce steps forward and snatches the bat from Redline's weak grasp. Hey, you gotta spin around first. Spin around? Yeah, like a piñata, and you get more points if it's a clean break. Yeah, alright, sure. Let's spin you around. Bruce gives a dark grin as he starts spinning Redline in place. The Yin starts to protest, but after a few turns, he stumbles off to the side and gets caught up by a crowd member, giggling like a drunk idiot. So, I just gotta break the melon. Bruce steps up to the plate, twisting the bat in his grip. He's got an evil look in his eyes. Wait, you gotta spin too! Redline protests, but is giggling the whole time. Bruce rolls his eyes and twirls in place on one foot. There, I spun too. And after we spin around, we smash the melon. In a single deft motion, the baseball bat streaks through the air like a bolt of brown lightning striking down on a collision course with the watermelon. Crack. The crowd stands in stunned silence, seeing the baseball bat split in two over the watermelon. The broken half flies off to the side, pitching itself into the sand next to my feet. Bruce too manages to express shock, anger, confusion, concern, all at once. He tosses the other half of the bat to the side. Redline, on the other hand, is howling with laughter. What the hell, Red? The champ reaches down to grab the melon, but his hand slips when he tries to lift it. He reaches down again, clutching it from below, and scowls as he stands up with the melon cradled in his chest. What the fuck is this thing made out of? Why is it so goddamn slimy? Bruce drops the melon, and it thuds into the sand. A distant green streak runs up Bruce's forearms and hands, the same color as the melon. The melon, on the other hand, seems to have leaked its color all over the dino scales. Redline once again howls, laughing. Bucky moves forward and swipes the melon clean with the towel it was set on before. Red, this is just one of Drayden's medicine balls, painted green. Where else was I supposed to get a watermelon down here? What the hell is wrong with you? It looked like fun! The crowd just sort of dissipates, some of them laughing, some of them seemingly disappointed that there was no watermelon. Bucky hands Bruce the towel to wipe the paint off. Did Drayden give you permission to paint his equipment? Redline just laughs harder and tries to wink, closing both eyes separately before scooping the medicine ball up. It'll be our little secret. You guys up for some volleyball with that thing? Sure, I'll spike it into your face. You want to join the other guy with Drayden? Even more snickers from the Yin as he scampers back up to the rest of the party. The three of us follow behind. Bruce lets out a sigh. Was really looking forward to that melon. Can't you just go up topside and get one on one of your days off? You probably got plenty of vacation days from beating my ass. The dino stops in his tracks, silent for a moment. He starts to say something, then Bucky chimes in. Oh yeah, you boys got your fight coming up. You nervous? I don't know how to answer that. Obviously, it feels weird to admit when Bruce is standing right here. Bruce is also silent, not walking closer to behind us. He inhales like he's about to say something, but ultimately breathes out, defeated. Jeez, that nervous, huh? Makes sense that a big lug like you would be scared of my pride and joy. Bruce lets out a quiet sigh as we reach the top of the ramp up to where the rest of the partygoers are. Yeah. So that's where I'm gonna leave it for today. So, not much happens. Like explicitly happens, I should say. We do find out that Bruce kind of wanted to talk to Zander privately. Basically tell him like, hey dude, you know, I'm sorry for the fact that I broke your rib. I'm sorry for the fact that I've been beating you up. Can't exactly help it. And I take it Zander either is too dumb or is too in his head that he doesn't realize that he isn't the only one stuck in an unfortunate position. Meaning that he isn't the only one that's stuck in this fight. That Bruce doesn't want to be doing what he, is doing. At the very least, he doesn't want to be beating Zander up this much. But for some reason, this deer just doesn't get it in his head that, like, dude, this isn't a fight. This isn't a fair fight, I guess, or something that you can, overcome that easily. Ugh. Not only that, but there's apparently something going on with Redline. You'll find out what it is in the next video, but I wonder what it could be. Ooh. You know, write down in the comments what you think it could be. But yeah. Zander really needs to get out, you know, get out of his own head. Anyways, thank you for watching / listening. If you would like to play Undefeated yourself and find out what's going on, you can do so by going over to itch and downloading the game from there. And you can do so by going down into the description, you know, of this video's description and finding the Twitter link that I will post there, which takes you directly to the itch link. Well, the itch page. And if you would like to support the project, I will also put up any Patreon or Coffee or whatever that these guys may have so that you can support them if they have any, because I don't remember. It's been a while. In like, what, 6 months? But yeah. So I'll post all that down in the description, and I guess that's it for now, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.